This is the GAC GN6, which is GAC's rival to the Toyota Innova. And just like the GS4 compact SUV that we recently reviewed, the GN6 also rides on a brand new platform, which also makes this one of the best Chinese cars we've ever driven. Pero bago natin simulan ng review na ito, please do subscribe and hit the notification bell para lagi kayong notified whenever we review a blue MPV. From the outside, the GAC GN6 looks properly modern, though not exactly what you would call flashy. You have GAC's signature Flying Dynamics front grille, sleek-looking halogen headlights, along with a steeply raked side profile. And this is also the part na kung saan bitin para sa akin ang itsura niya. And it's mainly because of those tiny 16-inch alloy wheels. The rear of the GN6 also looks elegant, though not exactly what you would call striking in any shape or form. Fundamentally, elegante naman tingnan ang GAC GN6. Though yun nga lang, its halogen headlights and tiny wheels sort of make it look a bit basic. Moving inside, and things start to brighten for the GAC GN6.
So now that we're here inside the new GAC GN6, and I gotta say I love the interior, and I think I prefer it over the bold colors na nasa Maxus G50, which it basically rivals, and to a degree pati yung Toyota Innova. I love the soft touch materials here in the lower dash. Itong leatherette surface niya. May hard plastic pa rin siya nga lang, but then again, even the Innova is worse kasi that doesn't even have soft touch plastics anywhere. So yeah, basically at this point, mas lamang ang Chinese brands in terms of yung kanyang interior quality and materials. The aircon vents actually, or rather the aircon controls actually look really nice. As a matter of fact, may pagka-metallic sound pa nga siya, but you can't help but think na parang it's somewhat inspired by a certain German luxury brand from Stuttgart yata. Ano kaya yun? Ano yung brand yun? Anyway, yes, it looks good. It is logically laid out as well. And apart from the controls which function well and look really nice, the interface, yung kanyang infotainment system is really good actually. So in terms of functionality, it's actually pretty okay, no? So you have your music radio, the usual, your home screen. It responds actually pretty well, their input. So ang snappy ng interface niya, yung response. May onting, delay, but that's mostly due to the fact na may animations kasi siya. Medyo mga fade out and all, but overall it's a responsive infotainment actually. I have not much to complain. You also control some of the vehicle functions through the infotainment. So yung mga smart door locks, yung kanyang lighting and all, yung kanyang mga other vehicle functions. So you control through the infotainment system. It's actually one of the better infotainment systems. It's significantly better than what's being offered in the Toyota Innova, which again, ayaw na ayaw ko talaga mga locally sourced touchscreens to death. Ayaw ko talaga siya. So, itong mga nasa Chinese cars are actually a breath of fresh air kasi they're really good infotainment systems compared at least to the locally sourced ones in something like a Toyota Innova. And the GAC GN6 also, yung kanyang infotainment system has Apple CarPlay and no Android Auto nga lang since this is a Chinese car and well, I think Google yata is banned in China. Yun yata yung ruling kung ba't lang ganun. So, wala kang Android Auto as a result. So instead of Android Auto, you have Baidu Car Life, whatever that is. I would like to commend the sound system, which sounds really good. Of course, at a Bose sound system level of clarity and all, but for the class, it's I think one of the best, even better than what's in the Toyota Innova and significantly better than what's in the Maxus G50, which to be honest, nung panahon na tinetest ko siya, sounds like cardboard, no? And, we're actually done with the front seats, so tara, let's go sa rear seats, no? So moving here sa second row ng GAC GN6 and yeah, there's a lot of space for the second row passengers. It's an MPV, so yun nga, it basically emphasizes that MPVs are the best for carrying people and not SUVs, sa totoo lang, no? Because of the unibody construction, mas mababa ang floor height mo, and basically have more vertical room with an MPV compared to an SUV. And this is basically illustrated here in the GAC GN6, no? So unlike the Innova na body on frame siya, you have a higher floor in that car compared to the GAC GN6, and as a result, mas onti yung vertical height mo. But with the GAC GN6, yun nga, it's really tall, and I have a lot of headroom here, also a lot of legroom. So it's really comfortable here on long journeys. Then you also have sa headrest mo, may mga unan ka rin dito sa sides. Just really comfortable to basically humiga sa mag-relax na long journey. And this is basically your cheapest or your most affordable option if you want an MPV with captain's chairs. You also have climate controls here for the rear. Ito nandito sa center console. Yun nga lang, you don't have cup holders na nandito sa center console. It's actually on the door bins, no? So it's nothing really to complain about. And then let's basically move on to the third row seats. So ngayon pala tayo sa kanang third row seats, and sa totoo lang, there's actually no way for you to move the seat forward kung gusto mong i-access yung third row niya. So this is basically about as much as you're gonna get pagdating sa third row access. So if you wanna access the third row in a more dignified manner, you have to go through the aisle sa second row, which is actually not bad kasi maluwag yung opening niya due to the captain's chairs na arrangement nga, no? So now that you're back here sa third row, this is why I continue to point out na it's better to own an MPV for family use, no? So I'm here in the third row and I actually like it here. Hindi ako nagreklamo in terms of space. So it's meant for 3, and since di nga to SUV but an MPV, it's really meant to carry people, no? So 1, 2, 3 people can sit here in the third row. Though yung middle passenger nga lang would have to be a small person kasi medyo makitid yung middle seat, but for the most part, it's really comfortable here. Yung legs ko nga lang medyo nakataas siya, so there's not much in terms of thigh support, but you know, for a smaller child, this would be very roomy. But for me, for an adult, I'm actually okay here for long journeys. The third row. Legroom is, well, onti lang legroom but I fit. Headroom is generous actually. Generous ang kanyang headroom for the third row seats. So, yeah, even an adult can fit in here sa third row niya, and yun nga, kids will be really comfortable here at the back. Then unlike nga lang dun sa second row na wala ka masyadong amenities except for the climate controls, meron kang USB port here for the third row, 1 USB port nga lang, and 2 cup holders. So yeah, that's basically one of the reasons why I would recommend an MPV more for family use compared to an SUV.
And then as for trunk space, the GN6 offers 324 liters behind the third row seats. And this grows to a whopping 1100 liters with the third row seats folded under the floor. Such are the benefits of owning a space-efficient MPV instead of another SUV. Yun nga lang, the second row captain's chairs can't be stowed and can only be slid forward for more space. And then moving under the hood of the GAC GN6, you'll find the 1.5-liter 4-cylinder turbocharged gasoline engine, and it produces the following numbers. Power is then sent to the front wheels via an async-sourced 6-speed automatic transmission.
So now that we're here in the GAC GN6, and what does it feel like on the road? Well, sa totoo lang, I've been enjoying the GAC GN6 for almost a week now, and I'm loving the exceptional levels of comfort and refinement in this car. No, it's really a comfortable MPV. I like how comfortable this MPV is. It's one of the best. I would go as far pa nga as saying it's one of the best now in terms of refinement and comfort. Apart from being a more space-efficient construction in terms of room, as you've seen kanina sa ating demonstration on its leg and headroom for all 3 rows. Ang isa bang advantage of having unibody construction is the comfort levels, no? So when you go through a bump, you just get a thud. Wala ka nang iba pang shake or whatever sa kanang structure and all. It's exceptionally comfortable talaga, no? And one of the good things with the GAC GN6 apart from the comfort levels is its refinement, no? So even at triple-digit speed is what we're doing ngayon, it's really quiet. It's exceptionally quiet for the class, and road wind and engine noise are really muted. Under hard acceleration, rinig mo yung makina, though di naman ganun ka-terrible yung ingay niya, pero the sound it emits is not exactly what you would call pleasant din, kasi it sounds a bit gruff, no? But yun nga, it's not a loud noise under hard acceleration. Rinig mo pa rin siya, a gruff note, but again, doesn't exactly what you would call, it's not exactly what you would call as disturbing, basically, no? And I'm also loving the stability of this car at triple digit speeds, no? So one of the reasons for that is yung kanyang steering is not exactly what you would call fast, yung kanyang reaction. So ngayon, I'm wiggling the steering wheel, iniikot ko siya ngayon, and it's barely changing directions, no? So as a result, it's not what you would call a sporty car. It's not sporty by any measure, no? But in terms of stability, it's really stable. Sobrang stable niya. Not much in terms of feedback sa kanyang steering wheel, no? Actually, it doesn't have any feedback at all, to be honest. But it does the job. And it's basically able to keep the car planted in a straight line when you're going through a highway, which makes this car very hassle-free to drive kapag nasa expressway ka. Actually, kahit di ka lang nasa expressway, and basically your everyday driving scenarios, the GAC GN6 is an exceptionally comfortable car. And then handling-wise, it's not exactly the sportiest thing in the world. Again, as mentioned, it's basically catered on offering a comfortable ride. And so, dahil dyan, there's a bit of body roll, and though the rest of the driving experience naman, there's a bit of body roll, yes, but doesn't exactly like parang squat, or doesn't exactly dive or squat under hard braking or acceleration. It's well-engineered naman. The brakes also feel reassuringly good. Okay naman yung brakes niya. Some media have said na the brakes felt spongy for this car, but in my experience, siguro baka na-adjust ng GAC or something, but the brakes in this car feel good. The brakes are reassuringly firm, confidence-inspiring yung kanyang stopping power, and it feels really good actually in terms of yung kanyang pakiramdam sa brakes. And this basically leads me pagdating sa kanyang engine, no? So as mentioned kanina, the powertrain is, you know, okay naman yung refinement niya. It's actually quiet most of the time. Under hard acceleration, it's not exactly what you would call pleasant yung tunog. It's not loud, but it sounds gruff. No, that's two different things. Loud and gruff yung tunog. Those are different aspects, no? So in terms of the refinement, the engine's okay naman. It's actually quiet most of the time. While torque delivery is good at the lower RPM, so if you're cruising at around 1 or 2k RPM, there's a lot of torque, no? So ito ngayon, we're gonna be entering the fast lane, overtake tayo. Ang ganda hatang at in overtake is lower cars. Though if you rev it at the higher RPMs, maybe around past 3000 RPM and higher, there's not a lot of pull. And that's basically the thing with most small turbocharged engines, no? Not all, but most rather. It's basically an observation that I am noticing pagdating sa mga gasoline engine ng mga Chinese cars, no? So there's a lot of pull at the lower RPMs. At the higher RPMs, medyo nawawala na yung torque niya. So in terms of the numbers, they're pretty good. But in the terms of the driving experience, itong turbo engine na ito feels like a naturally aspirated 1.8. So don't let the turbocharged part fool you. It feels more like a 1.8 liter non-turbo engine, no? For the most part. Then nagkakataon lang na you have a lot of torque at the lower RPMs. The 6-speed automatic that's mated to this car is also pretty good. For the most part, it downshifts to the correct gear. But I do notice minsan nga lang na kapag nasa stop ka, or let's say on a hill, meron siyang tendency minsan mag-roll back siya ng onte. I don't know why. Medyo may parang pagka-DCT yung pakiramdam niya at low speeds kapag yung, let's say, coming from a stop ka or crawling through traffic. For the most part, it's smooth, but meron na siya ng ganung konting quirk. But minor lang. It's super minor. It's not even a problem, to be honest. It's more of an observation lang that you have to take note of if you're gonna be owning this car. So power delivery, again, is good at the lower RPMs in terms of yung ganang torque delivery. The 6-speed automatic is mostly good. Meron na siya onting quirk kapag nasa crawling ka na situation yung ganyan, or kapag aarangkada ka, meron siya ng time na parang medyo may onting hesitation siya and stuff. Minor quirks lang, but it's not exactly something that you would call as deal breakers. And then finally, in terms of yung kanyang fuel economy, right now I'm doing exactly 10 kilometers per liter, which is pretty good for an engine like this, and pretty good for a car na ganito yung size niya. expect that fuel economy to drop a bit kapag, of course, it's fully loaded with people. And likewise, pagdating sa kanyang powertrain, expect it to not feel as responsive or as torquey kapag mas marami ka ng taong buhat din. So that's one of the disadvantages nga lang of not having a diesel engine like what you would find in the Toyota Innova. But for the most part, I'm enjoying this GAC GN6 so much. It's such a refined vehicle. In terms of refinement, I think it's top-notch. I think it's one of the best actually in terms of refinement, and also in terms of comfort. I would even actually almost go as far as saying that this is my class benchmark in terms of comfort and refinement, especially at high speeds, itong bagong GAC GN6 na ito. It's a really well-engineered MPV, especially for long drives.
Buying a GAC GN6 is quite simple. There's only one variant to choose from, and it sells for 1.35 million pesos. Some of its other features include passive entry with push-button start, remote engine start, along with the ability to open and close the windows and the sunroof by using the key fob. The GAC GN6 doesn't look quite as flashy as the Maxus G50, nor does it have the same amount of feature content. Yet this car drives so much better compared to its Maxus rival, and a lot better than the truck-based Toyota Innova. On paper, it's hard to get excited about the GAC GN6, but the moment you take this car for a spin, you'll immediately realize that this is the best driving MPV in its segment. At katulad ng sinabi ko sa GAC GS4, better driving dynamics age better than having the most number of features.